Hey guys, Joseph here once again. I'm excited to be here. So I'm continuing in this series, and in this particular video, we're going to be looking at how to create a velvet material, and which also has the detail in it. So you can see from the close-up shot, we have a very fine detail of this velvet material on the cushion. Then also going to a different lighting scenario, you also see that wow. And then looking how far, you also see how the light shines from where light hits, where how the furniture rather shines from where light hits it. And that's just what we're going to be looking at in this video, how to create this velvet material. So let's just hop into it. So in the previous video, I showed you how to create your um, leather material. So here I'm going to be looking at how to create a velvet material. So let's just quickly do every other thing we've done. So I'm back to the initial state. So I'll just select this guy, create, open it so that I'll be able to select that. So if I go to my M for material, I'm going to create a new material here. So remember in the previous video, I showed you how everything about this page. So if you haven't seen that, you might want to check the leather material. Okay, so I'll go to material, Corona legacy material. So I'll double click here and call this my velvet. All right. So let us see velvet one. All right. So I have this guy selected, and I'll just apply that. And once I'm done with that, I'll click into the setting. I'll go to my, because this is selected, if I click on plus, it's going to add it into that section. But this is not what I want. So I'll go back, click and close this guy off. Make sure I have it selected as this and just click so it turns it to 8 because I want to include all other things here. So we are here at this setting and that's it. If I'm to check this out now, this is what we're going to have. We're going to have this. Okay, so I think I may have missed some stuff. So let me just select this again. Open the group, select this guy, double click on this and then apply this. All right, so this solves that problem. So let's quickly create our own leather material. All right, so remember the way that goes. So we just come here, create a material set and put that into this. But then we can work with the color. So we can just come here, right click, go to material, go to map, general, then we have this color, or we can go to Corona, we have Corona color. So what that means is if I bring this color into this diffuse and just give this color a particular color, that becomes the color I'm going to have. Okay, so that becomes the color that this object will have. Okay, so what will bring that effect for the velvet effect is not the color itself. There is a map that will bring that effect, and that map is not in the coronal maps itself, is in the normal general map. So if you come into this normal general map, you have the falloff map. So the way the falloff map is, if I double click here, you notice we have the edge being black and this. So you would think that it is the edge that's going to be black, but the way this is um, interpreted is that the face that are perpendicular, sorry, that are just on the surface of the object as the light hits becomes the one at the middle here, while the one facing us is the black. So we want this face here. So if I bring this all the way up into this color, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this edge. You can see everywhere you're having the light hitting, it's going to have that buff. If I'm to bring this guy back and choose a very dark shade, you're going to understand what I'm trying to say. Just hit this dark shade of color. You notice that there is light here, but then let me just bring in the reflection. So I think that will help us to understand what I'm trying to say. Bring this to 1 and bring this glossiness down. So you can see the highlights. All right, so you can start to see the highlights. You see that there's a highlight here on this object. There is a highlight at that point. I'm going to bring it down so the highlight is more pronounced. Yeah, you can see that. See that there are highlights here, there's highlights here, and also obviously on this top. So everywhere you have your highlights, that's when you're going to have this white color. So that's what that is. If I bring this here now, you have your highlights. The white color will only show everywhere you have those your highlights, so to say. Um, so what I can do is if I go into this guy, you see that the Fresnel effect is quite much. So I can from here change a whole lot of things in this Fresnel. So I can do that by going into the map. So if I go into this map, I can remap the Fresnel effect. All right. So if I bring this guy to the side, or sorry, up, it becomes more white and see what we have. So it's giving precedence to this white part. And if I bring this down, it becomes more black and it gives precedence to this black section. All right. So we're going to use this to remap that. So if you look at this image, if I double click here, you can see what we are having. I want to have that white just at the edge. I think we have too much of a white here. So what we'll do is we're going to create a point somewhere here and go to move and move the black down. So we have more black on the surface. So if you look at this, this is the effect we're having. And now we are pinching this effect of the white away from just being here. You can see from here, see that white part. So what we can do is we can move it backwards and click, make it bezier, smooth, and we can smoothen this effect. Okay. So while I'm moving this out, you can see what's happening. It's changing effect, and it's giving me that sharp effect. So I'll also select this, right click on it, add the smooth bezier, and do this. I want to have more of an S shape feel. So you get that smooth transition, which you can see here. All right. So you see the effect I get to have if I come out of this place and go to another position like this closer. I'm going to see we have a different Fresnel effect. All right. So it's just going to brighten up this, and let's get rid of this reflection so you notice what's happening. So bring it to 0. So this is what is now highlighting. See, you get to have that effect that looks like it's shiny at that surface and also shiny here. So if I come back here, hit C again, let's go to another position. Okay, so this position might be too intense. You can see also that. See, let's go to camera 2. This camera, so you can see that we have different effects. So I'm going to go back to this and continue from there. You can see the highlights shown. So if I feel that this highlights, the white still too much, I can still pinch this down. I double click in here and reducing the white and let the black even go more. You can see that the more I reduce the white, the more the black is closing in on this guy, and you get to have less of the white. You can see that. So you can use this to control how you want that shininess. So let's just bring this somewhere here. This can also see it from the map. Okay. So now that we have this, we are more like 50% gone in this stuff. So we can now start remapping this color. So you have your map 1, which is the first color, and your map 2, which is the second color. So what that means is that if I bring this here to this first color, see what we have. and I want this to be the bright section. So I'll right click, I'll go to map, general, then I have color correction. So I go to color correction. So I'm not using the Corona color correction, I'm using the 3ds Max color correction. If I bring this into this map, I can bring this to map 2. So what I can do to this color correction is I can first off, I can invert that if I want to invert. It changes it to white, but I don't want to invert that. Instead, I want to change the color. So I'll go to the advanced, then I can also work with the gamma. So this is another way of color correcting if you want to use 3ds Max. So if I bring this up to 2, so it's giving me brighter shades of it, which you can see. So it's actually good for you to not go with white, just go with the shade of the color itself so that it's going to brighten it up. You can see already we are beginning to have this cool effect. So what we can now do is we can add this effect to the to the ambient occlusion. Remember the ambient occlusion that we did in the previous video. So we can add that effect to it, and then that's just it. So you see the way this is now. So if I'm to do the other one for the ambient occlusion, I'll just copy this. All right, I'll copy that, hold down shift and drag this down. Double click on this color and give this velvet 2. So for the velvet 2, I'm going to create an ambient map, general. So I can go to Corona now, arrow. So remember the setting, bring this into here. So I'm not going to be using falloff now, I'm using this ambient occlusion. So I'm going to make sure I have this selected, open the group. Okay, the group is already open. So once I have this selected, apply that, so it becomes white again. Then we can work with this ambient. Remember the settings so you can check all other ones from there. So I will just quickly change this so that we can look at what we have. So I'll bring this to life. Spread that out. So I'm trying to see this edge. So this is where I want to have some ambient occlusion, and you can also see from this edge. Okay, so I think I can still go, let's go 50. 50 might be too much, that is fine. We are seeing that we have too much of the black. So let's pitch that down to 5. And the spread, we can bring the spread down. So it's not too much. So you can see a little bit of the spread. 4. And I could tweak this all day long. So I think I'll just leave it at this. So we'll go with this value. So once we are cool with that, we can now mix that color again here. So remember we talked about the occlusion. So I'm going to bring this into the occlusion set. So to the unoccluded, all right, that is being on the unoccluded, while this will be on the occluded. And we're going to see that. So you can see what's happening. So this is the unoccluded and this is included. Let's go back and try to tweak this even more. Let's try 35 so that we can reduce more effects. So I'm trying to see what we're having here. So let's take 4. Okay, so you are seeing what I'm having now. Let's try 5. So bringing this value down is really pinching these guys out, and I think this is what I'm actually looking for. I wanted to really pinch them down and have this. I think I can still go bring the spread to like 3. It doesn't really spread so much. Let's try 0.1. So I'm trying to look at the spread. So the spread isn't too much, just a little bit of that, and we are good. I think this, yeah, this is really good. This is good. So we're going to be mixing this guy and the other one together, right? So how are we going to do that? We're going to right click, create material, corona, layered material. So this is going to be the base, right? So we'll just drag this into my base and I bring this into my layer 1. And that's just it. So if I double click here, I can apply that to an object. So we're going to mix both this and that together into this object. All right, so that's what is happening now. So I'm having the highlights and this. But now I want to break this guy apart. I don't want this to just show through. I want to use a map to mask it. So I'm going to create a bitmap, corona map, bitmap, and I'm going to bring in a map that I'm going to use. Okay, so let's go into this place. So let's use this map. Can bring this out into this section and put that in our mask 1. So we're going to use that to mask this ambient occlusion map. You can see that it reduces that effect to what we have here. So you can see the difference. If I bring this to 0, I have more of it showing. So if I bring it to 100%, I have less of it. But if I still want to break this more, I can remap that. Remember that. So we can come here and go to the output section and click on this guy right here and try to start mapping that. So if I come here, I can add a point here. Use my move tool to add more black if I want to have more black, and that will even cut more. You can see that. Bring this way up because we want to brighten that more. So I can just right click, smoothen that, right click, add a curve, and we want that white. Select this, we want this also. So doing that is going to really break the effect that we have. So right now we're now mixing the what's it called, the fall off, which is giving us a funnel with this. But we can also still go back into this and reduce the layer 1 so that the fall off shows more. All right, so I can just come to this 100% for the layer 1 and bring it to 50%, so it just shows 50% of it, while the fall off shows more. Remember here, if I bring this to 0, that means I'm having 100% of this velvet fall off, which I had first. And then if I just bring this to 50, then I'm mixing 50% of this, I'm adding 50% of this to that fall off that we have, and let's see what's happening. If I make this 100%, see that the impact is more. You can see on this edge. So let's just bring this to like, let's say 75 ish, something like that. So this is just how I will do that. Then from here, we can now start changing the material instead of us using this color. So I have a material that I'm going to use to change that. So I'll just also click here, map, corona bitmap. I'm going to go out. Uh, so far, I have this material that I'm going to use. So I'll just use the color, and also I'm going to use the normal. That's just what I need here. So bring this color out, click on OK, and let's quickly throw this into this section and put this here, and I'll put this here, and that substitutes that. You can see the other ones, so we have to still change that also. So drag this here. So I'm going to put this in the color correction or color correct, and then I'm also going to put this into this included, and that's what I've done that. But now the issue now is you can see the map is really much. So remember, I have to select this guy here, go to its map, and we'll add UVW map. And as soon as I add that and I make this box, it's going to quickly change the map, and we're seeing that highlight. Okay, so maybe this is fine. Let's go into the next. Let's go into the other camera to be sure what we have. So if I hit C on my keyboard, I go to the close-up shot, and let's see. So you can see that the pattern still is much, and so we can just go into this section, which is why it's very important to always have a close-up shot and see whether whatever you're doing is mapping correctly. So I'll go to this and I'll just scale the gizmo, really scale this down so that the pattern is not too big. Still, all right, so this is, let's still bring it in a little more. I see the pattern is really showing, right? So this is fine. I think I like this pattern as is. All right, so you can see this part that is shiny, it's because of the position that I'm at. So that's why we're having that. Okay, so come back here again, see, go back into this shot, and we have a different shot, right? So what I can do is if I feel that I want to increase this more, I can go to the color correct for this and bring this up, maybe 2.5. Come to this guy, do the same thing. Maybe this is going to be 3. I want to exaggerate that really more. So that will be 3, and you can see what is happening. All right, so you see here all these maps showing. So what I can do again is I can decide, say, coming on, so let me stop that and show my material, or I could just click it. So let's bring this down. I feel it's getting too much, so I'm going to say more. So let's just try 1.5 with this so that it doesn't, it's not too pronounced. So this can reduce. So I have that. Yeah, this is fine. So if so that's pretty much what I have. The next thing is just to add the normal map. Okay, that's just the next thing that is left. So if I come here and duplicate this map here, go into it, go and bring in the normal map, and look that, then right click here, go to my map, Corona normal, and just put this into this section. I can put this into my bump section, and that's just it. Remember, for the normal map, double click here and go and activate this. So once I'm done with that, I'll select this. I can either duplicate or just drag the same guy into the bump. That's not the bump, so I'll just come back and move that here. Okay, move that into this section. And that would have done that. So you can see the setting that I have here. I don't have to use reflection because there's no point for reflection for velvet. So it is the reflective effect, not really reflective, it is shiny effect is faked in the color panel, which you can see right here. So I can continue from here. Let's just say I want to go out of this camera. I can close this material because I'm done. I can come into this place and hit my P for perspective. And while I'm here, I can, let's go out of this. And let's also close that group. So from here, look at what happens once I orbit. It's going to change the light reflection or shininess. You can see this place is now shining. If I do this again, the same thing, it will change. It will always change. So this shiny effect is not always at that position. It will always change depending on my position, depending on my focus, where my point of this thing is. So if you notice here also, it should shine around this edge here. You can see that. So that's the velvet material playing out for you. So this is how you're going to create the velvet material. Nothing special. It's just once you understand the technique, you understand how to use those tools, then trust me, everything is just as easy as a piece of cake. I'll just stop and see you in the next one. You have a wonderful day. Take care.